Good morning, everyone, the World Wide Web, and welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. I'm Adam Smith with Just the Tips Coaching, and with us, as always, is our marketing director and another one of our coaches, Jen Waybauer. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning.
And we've got a really special guest for you guys today. This is a friend and colleague who we've had the pleasure of getting content from in what would have been considered relatively normal times. And this is a woman who goes by Chaos Corinne. And Corinne has given us so much content over the years on how to thrive in chaotic environments. And I don't know that in my lifetime, and certainly not in the time that Jen and I have known Corinne, that we've had a more chaotic environment than what's going on in the world right now. So the timing is exquisite. And Corinne, welcome to the show and good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh no, that's our pleasure. We love having you, and I'm sure Jen will talk about another live presentation that we'll get from you later this year. Later in the show, she'll talk about it. But yeah, Corinne, your content is amazing. It has certainly made an influence on our lives, likely on the lives of everybody that we've exposed to you, whether that's through our event every fall, the Mile High Mastermind. We obviously coordinated having you speak at the MFBA event in Texas earlier this year. That was actually
when we were still getting to travel. Remember that?
Right? It was only 6 weeks ago.
That's crazy.
That was the end of February.
Wow.
Yeah, literally before that all came to a grinding halt. But Corinne, tell us about what it is you do and how you got into it and how we can all thrive in chaos.
Well, you guys, it's amazing because really, I've spent my entire career in the world of chaos. I love chaos. I spent my career as an international aid and development worker. So I work in some of the most chaotic environments around the globe. And I work as a global health worker. So it's really interesting that everything right now has sort of compounded into, I feel like, a history of my life. And sort of all of the background that I've worked in health issues, chaotic environments, crazy government changes, crazy policy changes. And all of a sudden, I find myself in it here. And I've spent this past several years working with companies, working with CEOs, helping sort of prepare people how to thrive in chaos and prepare people for the chaos that's coming. But never have we all been in it at the same time like this. So it's been a pretty fascinating time in our careers right now.
Yeah, that's certainly true. How did this start for you? How did you get into, and don't get me wrong, I understand that we're, little fish in a really big pond this way, and that you coach on this stuff, on thriving in chaos to execs at organizations like Universal, NBC, Xfinity. The list is enormous. And obviously we certainly want to talk about some of the healthcare work that you do around the globe as well. But how did this start for you?
Well, I think it started as, I'm a leadership coach by trade. I went to actual real school for my background, and my degrees are in cultural anthropology and human development. And then I went and actually got certified as a master certified coach. And but I was always working in the nonprofit sector, and I got connected working overseas in Africa probably 15 years ago. And I just fell in love so much at that depth because I feel like when I'm over there, it's really connecting to the rawness of humanity, to really learning what humans are capable of and truly going to the depth of who we really are and pushing us to the edge of, I really live my life by this idea of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I really always want to encourage others to push themselves to what's possible. Where do you want to push yourself? And being over there just gives me a connection to the human spirit, and seeing what people have to work with and making it work is so inspiring. So when I started coming back, people would ask me whoa, can you tell us more about this? And it just sort of spiraled into an amazing coaching practice and keynote speaking and working in the nonprofit sector, and just having my own nonprofit has just been really crazy at times.
Chaotic, to say the least.
Yeah, chaotic. And being a mother of 2 teenage boys and trying to juggle it all and spending half my time overseas, the other half my time in boardrooms or in, on an airplane, and staying gone usually in 3 different cities every week and trying to juggle it all. I mean, that's what we're doing here in America. That's what we do. We have so many opportunities that we work so hard. And if you do the work, the life can be really amazing. But I think we got a little out of balance for a while. And this has been a really interesting time to force ourselves back into right here, right now.
I like that. That's actually really profound, that we've got something of a reset button being hit. There's definitely some there's something to delve into there. Let's put a pin in that, as it were. So, and don't get me wrong, because obviously the volume of content that I've gotten from you, not just live presentations, but certainly from the workbooks and worksheets, and obviously we've spent some personal time together. You and Jen and I and Austin had a lot of that opportunity earlier this year. Where's the monumental shift in the general chaos, and obviously that chaos that existed in this world 3 months ago, 6 months ago, was nothing to sneeze at. We all live in a constant state of chaos for the most part. Aside from, my grandmother, who's, locked in her apartment and is probably dying because there just isn't enough on cable TV these days. She's probably seen it all. But what is different today than it was 3 or 6 months ago, or even than it was when we saw you 6 weeks ago? What kinds of things are people experiencing? What kinds of adjustments should they be making to adapt and deal with this new current level of chaos?
Well, I think it's a great question, Adam, because I've been working, I've been online ever since this has started, about a month ago, with CEOs from all over the world, and from Asia to Canada, and watching the flow over the past few weeks has been absolutely fascinating, especially going from, usually when something hits, it's sort of this confusion and frustration, and everyone responds in a different way. And we have to remember that we all have a different way that we react when things change outside of our control. Some people are really afraid. Some people are really angry. Some are in complete denial. And we've watched it like everyone's trying to blame someone or just avoid it completely. And so it's really tuning into, how do you respond? What does it make you feel like? And to keep checking in throughout the weeks, because it's changed. For how you felt a week ago to where you are today, we're starting to sort of move into a comfortability of this uncomfortableness. And now you have to be careful too, when you start to get comfortable, we start to get into a little bit of routine again, and you start letting things fall to the backside. And it's now really looking at, what do you want to work on right now? What's the current threat to your business? What's the current threat? The actual threat, not the potential, but what's actually happening right now in this moment? And how can you use it to your advantage? What are the opportunities that it's presenting? And I keep reading all this stuff on social media or LinkedIn that's like, we're going to come out of this stronger. This is going to just make our businesses better. We're going to be more amazing. How I feel about it is, yes, you will, if you're willing to do the work right now. But if you're just going to figure out your latest, newest Netflix binge and just wait for the government to give you your checks and bail you out, then no, you're not going to be stronger. And I just it makes me crazy to look at this global view, and looking at my teammates and my people that I work with overseas, and looking at the lives that they're about to embrace in. They are truly going to try and survive this. We get to use this to thrive. And really, what the best part about chaos to me, when things like this happen, is it blows holes in the places that you needed to go to work. It blows holes in the places your business wasn't prepared. It blows holes in your processes. I mean, I look at my family life. I can see where we had a lack of discipline in certain areas, right? I can see where we had a lack of structure, because chaos just blows it wide open. Now, if you take the time to go to work on it right now, and it sucks, right? It's totally this idea of embrace the suck, get into it, dig into your website that you didn't want to deal with, dig into your, closets that you didn't want to clean out, get into it, do the hard work now because you will be so grateful that you did when it's over.
I like that. Embrace the suck. We will certainly live
it has
by
been
that.
what I have been sharing so much because I feel like people keep trying to put this positive spin on it. Like, oh, let's find the silver lining. Well, yeah, but maybe what if today there isn't one? What if it just sucks today? My kids are running around like crazy. No one's getting their homework done. Like, it's just, I've seriously cooked dinner, I think 5,000 times and done 4,000 dishes. It's just crazy. It's just a whole new life. And it's, you know what? There is awesome parts in it. But there are moments where it's okay if it kind of sucks. And I think that's okay. And it's hard. To do the hard work right now is worth it, but it's not always fun. And that's okay. We're just not used to it as Americans being uncomfortable. So get comfortable being uncomfortable right now.
That's true. And, it occurs to me, and it may have, but obviously this brings a lot of things to light, to the surface. One of the reasons that Jen and I probably connect with you so well, or connect with your content so well, is that we've got some very similar beliefs. They're labeled a little differently, but I've constantly said, certainly for years and years, as long as Jen has known me, that life isn't about how you act. It's about how you react. How do you roll with the punches? And we're obviously all getting punched around right now.
Yeah.
But I think that one of the things that really struck a chord with me the first time you and I spoke was about staying on mission. And I looked at it a little differently, and I hadn't used that phraseology, that terminology, that we don't go backward. There's no point. The blame game, and you mentioned that a few minutes ago, is enormous right now. Are we, blaming a guy that ate an undercooked bat in Wuhan, China? Are we blaming the political administration for not reacting quickly enough? Are we blaming the fact that we no longer have this federal emergency response organization? Whatever the case may be. And obviously, something that we've really embraced is that stay on mission. Let's go forward. What are the goals? Let's still work to achieve those, rather than looking behind us and talking about, well, whose fault is this? Where did we fail? And don't get me wrong, there's a proper time to address where that failure occurred, like we're all going to have to do right now. Where are the holes that are being blown wide open? But give us some insight as to staying on mission, in your phraseology, not mine, when it comes to repairing these holes, moving forward, improving our businesses, taking advantage of what's going on in the world right now. One, that we're going to see these problems that we didn't see before, either because we had our head in the sand, or they just weren't brought to the surface enough because of all the other normal chaos. And of course, what kinds of things we should be doing from a business perspective, from a personal perspective, to ensure that we're thriving in the current chaos properly. What kinds of things should we be doing? What kinds of checklists and evaluations can we be making to identify the problems, repair them now while we have time, so that we do continue to stay on mission once the world returns to a new semblance of normal?
I love that idea of the new normal, and remembering that it's not going to return to how it was. Is the more clarity you can have around that is great. And so, Adam, it's such, and Jen, it's really amazing how you've always taken that on. And so what I think the main thing that's changed right now, and when I'm working with CEOs, especially right now, is we're always looking in this big picture. What makes us amazing at our businesses and our companies as leaders is we're able to really look at the big vision. What's coming? What's a year from now? Right now, when you're in chaos like this, we have to take everything and bring it to right now in this moment. Because as we've seen, things keep changing by the moment. They change by the day. So if we keep doing things that are way out here, it just doesn't matter because it could turn on a dime. So everything I've been doing and working on is in this idea of this chaos action plan. I kind of call it like my 4 C's, like have clarity, define what is the challenge today, just right now, right in front of you. And if you can look at that and identify it, because what happens a lot in chaos that I've noticed is we go to a lot of potentials. We live in a lot of what ifs. Right now, it doesn't matter. You have to remember the lens that I view it through. I do contracts with the Department of Defense, with the State Department. I work with our top military people. And what I see is we got to be right here, right now. Our base just got hit. So what is the defined threat? What is actually in front of us? So have clarity. Then get curious about what do you have to work with? What are your resources in your possession right now? Everyone's thinking about the SBA loans and all these things coming in and all of these bailouts. Well, my grandmother used to always tell me, don't count your chickens before they hatch, right? Don't count your chickens before they hatch. We don't know. Be right here, right now. What's your defined threat? What's the impact that it's having? Have clarity around that. And then get curious of what are the resources you have to actually work with, and then get creative. You guys, this is the time more than ever to redefine all your processes, move people around in your business, clean house. Like if you had C players, now you get to go look for your A players, because there's a whole lot of people that need work right now, right? I have CEOs that their biggest task right now is recruiting, because there's a lot of companies that won't make it through this. Just because they're crappy companies doesn't mean they have crappy people. They may have some amazing people that you may want to look at. So I would recommend getting really clear on where are some of your challenges right now. What do you actually have to work with? What are you trying to actually accomplish as a leader right now? Maybe it's keeping your people engaged, keeping your teams engaged, keeping yourself engaged, but then have courage right now to go for it. Try things that you've never wanted to do, or that you've always wanted to do, but you've never thought you could, because this is a time more than ever that you can ask for forgiveness later, because everyone is like spinning, right? So go for it. Try it. What have you got to lose? It's already screwed up anyway. So why not try it? Be courageous right now with what you have in front of you. This is the time to just try it, because what have you got to lose? Follow that part down. Like, look at your current threat. What's in front of my business? What's the impact it's having? You can follow that impact down the worst case scenario road. That's going to give you your potential threats. Don't you listen to the potential threats that are out here in the media or in your, outside world. Come right here into your business, your life right now. So that's what I would recommend more than ever is, yes, you can forecast out and look at the what ifs, but they need to be the what ifs of your current situation, not made up ones. Go for it right now and be here, be present, really identify and evaluate. And it's dirty and it's messy, and sometimes it can be really uncomfortable. But this is the ones that are going to come out stronger, the ones that truly, the businesses that will thrive, the leaders that will rise to the top are the ones that will do the hard work right now. Get messy, get uncomfortable. I mean, I know that the CEOs and like all of us, we're probably working harder than we've ever worked in our whole careers right now. And that's really pretty cool. But you know what? Nothing is forever. This is going to be the work that you're going to be so grateful that you did, because your processes are going to be cleaner. Your teams are going to be stronger. Your clarity of mission is going to be so clear, and you can stay on the mission of your big vision mission, but break your missions down into smaller ones that are accomplishable right now, and deliver them to your people in a way with clarity, because that's what they need. They need you to step up as a leader. They need you to give small, short, clear missions that they can accomplish right now.
It's it's funny how much internal reflection I end up doing every time we talk. Every single time. Some of it personal, some of it business. And it's a good thing, no question, because it does bring a lot of other things to light, to the surface. Where should I be focusing? What should I be working on? Am I doing these kinds of things to ensure that my business is stronger, my team is better, they're clearer, they're more focused, so on and so forth. And I'd like to think that we're ahead of the curve. No question. Jen is nodding. Maybe she thinks
she says yes. That's good. Yeah.
And I know Erica is watching. I saw Erica make some comments, so hopefully Erica agrees with Jen as well. I see Erica's husband agrees. Embrace the suck. He loves it.
Awesome.
I think what I just want to elaborate on a little bit from what Corinne is saying about all of these what ifs. She's asking everybody to stay on mission in the here and now. And while they are still what ifs, they are the what ifs that are in the here and now are going to be so much clearer and such a more narrow focus then the what ifs of what the new normal appears like in the world in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, the possibilities are virtually limitless. So even attempting to focus on the what ifs of what the new world is going to look like in a year is an almost impossible task because there are so many possibilities. None of us has any idea where this is going, what the world's going to look like in that time frame. So yes, please, for those of you that are watching now live or in syndication as the weeks go by, please make sure that your focus is on the more limited amount of what ifs that are in your face right now, that are on your current mission, rather than what is the world going to look like in a year. There are just too many possibilities.
Too many, and it's too stressful, and especially for your team members. Really, like I said right now, if you think about the things that make you feel secure right now, what is the information that helps you? It's having a very clear, defined threat. What is actually my threat right now to my life, to my livelihood? And really, what's the impact that it's having? What is the real impact? I want everyone to just zoom in more on the actual impact, because how it exists in our minds is very different than when you start to break it down and say, well, tell me more about that. How's that actually impacting you? Because people go and spin off into this negativity that isn't even real. Like, if you start to break it down, like, tell me really, like, I have people overseas right now, my friends that are working at a health facility in Uganda. They are in a real bad way right now, right? Their health facilities were already stressed before this was even hitting. You add things like this, we do have some challenges as a country, but my goodness, if we're going to go through this chaos, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. I wouldn't. And I don't think any of us would either, if we really took it out to a bigger vision view, and having such amazing networks and technology and people like you guys to talk with and brainstorm about and think about ideas, and then looking at opportunities of what's possible out of this becomes the most exciting part of chaos for me. I think it's fascinating, because I believe that in every threat, right? In every threat that we're facing, that produces unbelievable opportunity. We love to solve problems. And usually there's people that are going to pay you money to solve it for them. So this is the time where you get to really look at these threats and be like, oh, how many opportunities are really there? And how does it connect to my mission, to my company, what we already do? What are we really good at? And what do we suck at that we could work on right now? Well, personally and professionally.
There is something so profound in there for our audience that hopefully they're all picking up on. We love people. We love the Corinne just live video. We love solving problems. We can't have problems to solve without the chaos, and that people will pay you to solve those problems. And that's true of pretty much everybody in our audience, for How I Met Your Mortgage, for Just the Tips Coaching, for everything we do. You guys need to understand that chaos, which is everywhere, breeds problems. Everyone loves to solve problems, and people will pay you to solve some of their problems. So if you put that chain together, and Corinne, thank you, that was so eloquently put. If you put that chain together, you should be far more successful now than a month ago, and even more so in a month than you are now, and certainly light years ahead, head and shoulders above where everybody else is right now, if you're doing the things that are focused on staying on mission and thriving in the chaos over this period. Or you could be that person that's watching a documentary about a hillbilly, meth addict, homosexual tiger owner. It's certainly up to you guys which of those two tasks you want to partake in.
Now, I would say definitely take some breaks and find the balance, because what I have noticed is that there are some of us, especially if you're on this and you're part of people who know you guys, I mean, you tend to attract those where we attract our similarities, where we could get caught up in, and also working almost too hard on this and spinning out and creating more chaos of putting so much pressure on ourselves. Like, am I doing enough? Am I working hard enough on my business? So also I want to give a little balance too, is to remember that you're doing the best you can with what you have right now. It's really interesting. There was a time when I was in the Democratic Republic of Congo working. Ebola broke while we were there. It was insane. This was in 2014. It was very similar to a month ago here. We had no idea. We didn't have all the information. It kept changing by the day. And, there's times, and sadly, a lot of people died during that time. And, I kept putting so much pressure on myself, being like, God, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have known that. And I see a lot of business owners doing that right now. And a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done this 2 weeks ago. Well, just like you said before, Adam, who cares? The past already happened. We have to remember that we're doing the best we can with the information that we have today. Don't worry about what you didn't do last week. We didn't know what we knew then. So let it go. We have to keep letting go of those mistakes or things you wish you would have done, because for all of us, we're like, I wish I would have gotten on top of that. Who cares? Be right here, right now, and just move forward. Let it go.
You got to let the past be past.
We have to, or you'll make yourself crazy. And there's just no time for that right now. It just is like, I have actually really loved some of the simplicity that's happened, and like not running around like a crazy person, especially us who have a bunch of kiddos and a million activities and all of that slowdown. I'm actually a little nervous for what happens when it picks back up. There's a lot of things that I've missed doing, but also I've enjoyed a little bit of the like calm that has come from not having 4,000 activities to go to in the evenings. And I think a lot of other parents can really appreciate that part. That pressure has been really nice to be lifted for a while. So enjoy that too. And it's okay to just chill out and watch a show once in a while too. And let yourself have the highs and lows right now of your emotions and your energy levels. That's normal.
It is, and I'm certainly just making jokes, to be perfectly honest. Other than apparently what Netflix released this weekend, I did watch all 7 episodes of The Tiger King in their entirety.
Yep, me too.
And I still can't decide if it was entertaining or not, but kudos to Netflix for a lot of the good work that they've done as of late. Netflix is one of the organizations that is saving the world right now. So,
along with Zoom and
absolutely. And Facebook and all of you that have us as a population, a world population, glued to our screens right now. Thank you so much for all of those contributions as well. We would likely consider those of you as frontline workers as well these days. So, Corinne, obviously we've barely scratched the surface of your depth and knowledge on what business owners, the self-employed can be doing to thrive in chaos, whether it's in the world's condition today or in, the past normal, the new normal, whatever we're going to see as time goes on. And there is so much more information to get from you. How do people get a hold of you?
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I think definitely you can go to my website at CorinneHancock.com. Follow me on Instagram at Chaos Corinne. And, I think probably stay connected with you guys, since I love always being connected with all of you. And I know we're going to do a fun event coming up again, Jen, in September. So that'll be amazing with that. But I think my website's the best way right now. I'm not as cool as you guys yet in content delivery, so I hope to work. But you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn as well. At Corinne Hancock is a great source for that as well. So thank you.
I'm not sure that that's accurate. We do love your Insta, so there's some really good content in there. Jen, you've obviously had the opportunity to spend more non-work time with Corinne than I have. Anything that we're missing? Obviously these are short episodes, and I have no doubt we'll get Corinne back for a podcast maybe next year. And we'll obviously see Corinne in September, and maybe you want to give us a little more information about that as well. But what are we missing? What should we look for? What should we look forward to come September?
Yeah, I think we touched on the surface of, these loopholes in your own business, but you need to take those to your clients as well. We've got to get back to the basics of what should our clients actually be worried about, not when is their stimulus check going to hit or what's going to happen 6 months from now, but what can we actually help them with in this moment, not next week, not next year, right now. So especially those in the mortgage industry, realtors, like that's something that you can really dig deep with your clients on. Get on the phone, like the content we've been putting out in the weekly tips, get back to the basics, get on the phone, see what trigger points you can help people with right now. I think it really is our job as the experts in our fields to clear some of that chaos, because the media is insane. Facebook is insane. Corinne was saying before we get on that she's kind of not on Facebook right now because it is there's so much information coming to people right now, that it's our job to kind of clear the air and remind people what's actually important.
Well, and Jen, it's great that you said that too, and to remember and to listen to your gut. You know, what I noticed too in chaotic times is suddenly everyone becomes experts too. Here's what I know is that if you actually are an expert, people are coming to you. And so to really, really like be mindful of the content that's out there, where it's coming from, to do your due diligence. And just like you said, go back to the basics, of your leadership skills, your sales skills. You guys have been doing this for a long time. Get curious about people, get curious about their frustrations, get curious about their complaints, authentically connect, because we're all experiencing things in a different way. And that is going to create the authentic bonds and the authentic ways to work together, which is what we've all built our businesses on in the first place from when it all began. So go back to those basics for sure.
Absolutely. And we met Corinne because of our event last fall, our Mile High Mastermind. So this September, as long as the world has returned to normal, we will have our fourth annual Mile High. Yeah, our new normal. We'll have our fourth annual Mile High Mastermind in mid to late September. And we're really excited to have Corinne back as a speaker for that as well.
And I assume eventually you'll have information about that using the text code.
Absolutely.
And yeah, guys, feel free to use that code scrolling across the bottom of your screen to find out more information about us, how to reach us, how to get a replay of this video, how to get the contact information for Corinne through that channel. Really, for anything you'd like, if you want more information about us, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want a copy of my book, Just the Tips. Now the green screen is funny. Now I've got San Francisco. Guys, I'm not really in my $10 million Sausalito condo looking over San Francisco, for those of you that believed otherwise. And yes, I have had the question. So for any of that information, Corinne, thank you so much for being with us. It's enlightening. Every time I get to spend time with you, I learn something new. So thank you for being with us. I have no doubt Jen will jump on getting you booked for another podcast after the Mile High Mastermind in the fall, and we will see you then.
Thank you guys so much. Keep thriving in chaos. You got this, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.